Hi YouTube, this is Darkon633, and today we're taking a look at the first of the Suicide Squad figures, since now we're going to actually go ahead and review all the DC Multiverse for the Suicide Squad line, since I finally was able to get a hold of all of them recently. So, this is actually a pretty cool wave of figures, and we're going to look at them one by one as we go throughout the several different figures released in this line leading up to Killer Croc itself. But anyways, we'll start with Deadshot. And as mentioned earlier, the first character we're going to take a look in the Killer Croc wave is Deadshot. Now, this version of Deadshot was portrayed by Will Smith in the Suicide Squad film, and while the CW-verse version of Deadshot was okay, I guess, I definitely prefer this version of the character. Maybe not so much Will Smith's take on the character specifically, but how the character was written. I did definitely enjoy this version of Deadshot more than the one in the CW-verse. But anyways, we're going to take a look at the box. The box is in the typical DC Multiverse box style. It has a picture of Will Smith as Deadshot there. It shows it on the side, and it has the newer style logo. On the back, it shows the other figures in the line, which includes the Joker, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Katana, and Batman, which unfortunately is mostly the same mold as the one from the Batman vs. Superman version, but it does have a bunch of new accessories and a breathing mask. And it shows that they do build Croc, but it is a bit strange since Mattel did something weird and released Killer Croc the correct arms, but unfortunately for some reason instead of the unbandaged hands, the main release came with the bandaged hands, which is kind of strange. But anyways, Deadshot includes the right hand and arm of Killer Croc. Anyways, we'll now take a look at Deadshot himself. Deadshot has high range of mobility, and it's really good. Most of the joints are tight, while the hips are a bit strange. They're definitely not the loosest of joints that I've got in figures, but it is kind of loose that causes them to be just a little bit have a problem with balance. But anyways, the head does feature a ball joint, which works really nicely, though it doesn't really look up and down that much, at least I think with just this head. I don't exactly remember what the Will Smith head does on this since I haven't looked at it in a while, but this head doesn't really move that much up and down. Anyways, the shoulders have really nice tight ball hinges. Swivels at the arms. Really tight joints at the elbows. Thus feature a wrist swivel, but no other type of movement since it is just a standard swivel rather than a ball hinge swivel. It does have waist articulation, which works pretty good. An ab crunch, though you won't get much out of this one just because of the really hard plastic vest that's on his body. It's not a whole lot of movement you're going to get. That's about as far as you're going to get. He has good movement in the hips, even with all the armor bits. Swivels at the thighs, and he can go forward and back as normal, so that's really nice. He doesn't have any boot cuts or anything, but he does have pretty decent ankles, and they're very tight on this, so that's really nice. The only accessories that Deadshot includes is obviously, as I mentioned, the Killer Croc arm, the exchangeable head, and this single blaster, which is unfortunate since Deadshot is known to having a lot of weaponry. So it's unfortunate that this is the only weapon that he includes. It would have been nice if he actually had a second weapon of sorts, maybe like a knife, or maybe some kind of other blaster, but unfortunately, all the bits on his body are non-removable, and they all stay on his belt, which is unfortunate since it would have been cool to maybe have at least another blaster of sorts. Anyways, to remove the head, it's very simple. It's on a ball joint. As you can see there, it just has a regular ball socket. Then you're going to be able to put this on. It snaps really nicely. It's a pretty decent likeness to Will Smith. The head, as you can see, yeah, even though it has a ball joint, unfortunately this head has even less mobility. Even though, as I mentioned earlier, it is on a ball joint, unfortunately just by the way that the head is placed and how the neck works, he only can swivel side to side, and that is a bit unfortunate since it would have been nice if it actually had a lot more mobility. But that's about it. The only other thing I guess I can consider something to note on the figure is that the knee pads are a separate piece. So when moving the joint, it does bend the plastic around just a bit since it is made of a little bit softer plastic, so keep that in mind. And maybe you keep it into a joint for too long, it might cause the plastic to crack. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but it might be a problem later down the line, so it's best to keep it in positions where he will not have to deal with the components to move and maybe cause problems with the armor bits there. But anyways, that's pretty much it for Deadshot. A lot of these Multiverse figures really don't have the most amount of accessories, sans Batman, which has the most of its entire wave, but this is still a really nice figure, and I think it's a pretty good likeness to Will Smith. And I highly recommend picking up Deadshot if you like the character, especially since it does have the standard Deadshot mask. So it can be a pretty decent stand-in for just a Deadshot in your collection in general, or if you actually like the character from the film itself. So I recommend picking this up. Anyways, I'll be back with another Suicide Squad review, but for now, please check out Hero Taco and Hero Club, and please check down the other channels down below. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to check me on Twitter at Darkon633. I'll be seeing you too. Bye.